Alright, let's cut to the chase. Modern progressive metal is drowning in imitation. Everyone's chasing the ghost of 2002, slapping on odd time signatures, and calling it a day. But Northern Ireland's Solothurn, they are doing something weirdly refreshing here. Let's unpack their EP High Priestess, because it's a case study in how to wear your influences like a custom-tailored coat instead of a Halloween costume. First off, the obvious, yes, they are mining the Tool Mastodon playbook. The sludgy grooves, the brooding atmospheres, the way the guitars slither between heaviness and melody, it's all there. But here's the twist, they've smuggled in Jerry Cantrell's Ghost. Like, the dirtier Alice in Chains melancholy isn't just a nod, it's the secret sauce. And that's what makes this EP feel like a late 90s mixtape reimagined through a prog lens. Personally, I think that's ballsy. Most bands in this space are so busy flexing their technical chops they forget that emotion is a thing. Solothurn, they are writing riffs that ache. Take the line, "What a beautiful feeling, I know if I'm breathing, I'm not dying." That's not just a vocal hook. It's the thesis statement. This whole EP is about surviving the grind of modern life, the screens, the isolation, the slow-motion collapse of everything, while finding weird, gritty hope in just existing. And Ryan Adair's voice. Dude's got that Cantrell Staley hybrid down pat, but he's not ripping them off. He's channeling that raw, whiskey-soaked vulnerability to make the bleakness feel intimate. Which makes me wonder, why don't more prog bands go for this kind of emotional directness? Maybe because it's harder to fake sincerity than it is to nail a 17/8 riff. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the final track Hollow. Look, I get what they are doing. They wanted to close with this sprawling, hypnotic dirge to let the listener marinate in the mood. But here's my issue. 8 minutes of mid-tempo lethargy after 2 tight, punchy tracks. It's like serving a 3-course meal where the dessert is just more salad. In a full album, this would make sense as a palate cleanser. But as an EP closer, it saps momentum. And honestly, I think that's a metaphor for the band's current identity. They've got the chops to command attention, but they are still figuring out how to sustain it. Which is totally fair for a young band. This isn't a flaw, it's a signpost. What fascinates me most is their rejection of the tech-wank arms race. The guitar solos here aren't face-melting shredfests, they are moody, melodic, and buried in the mix. That's a deliberate choice. In a genre obsessed with virtuosity, Solothurn is saying, "We'd rather bruise you slowly than hit you over the head." And Marty Ellie's drums. He's got Danny Carey's playbook, but plays like he's actively avoiding the spotlight. This is a band that understands texture, the way a bass line can thicken a sound, how a harmony can haunt without dominating. It's mature, but not in that look how wise we are way. More like, we know what matters here is the vibe, not the ego. So where's the line between homage and originality here? Solothurn isn't reinventing the wheel, but they are forging a new path through a very crowded forest. Bands copy Tool and Mastodon all day long, but blending that with grunge soul, that's a lane. And if they lean harder into that contrast, more of the rawness, more of the hope in despair, without letting the prog elements feel like a crutch, they could own this space. For now, High Priestess is a 7/10 with the scent of something special lingering in the shadows. I'll be watching, yeah, but more importantly, I'll be listening.